2025 felt harder without everything falling apart, you weren't imagining that. Across field services, demand didn't disappear. Phones kept ringing, work stayed steady. But costs went up, labor stayed tight, and expectations continued to rise anyway. So, the real story of 2025 wasn't decline, it was compression. More pressure packed into the same amount of work, with less room for error. Most service businesses are still busy, but delivering the same level of service requires managing more moving parts than it did, say, a few years ago. Owners are juggling staffing gaps, rising costs, compliance, customer expectations, and new technology all at the same time. And that's what we're heading into 2026 with. Labor remains one of the most consistent pressures across all of field services. Skilled workers are harder to find, harder to keep, and way harder to replace. And unfortunately, experience is being aged out faster than is being replaced. Senior technicians are retiring, and it's taking longer to get new hires up to the same level of productivity. That puts pressure on training, scheduling, and service quality, even for fully booked companies. At the same time, service businesses are being squeezed from the other side. Material costs are up, compliance and operational expenses are up, wages continue to climb, customers are even more price sensitive. Delivering quality service while maintaining a healthy margin has become more difficult, even for well-run businesses. And layered on top of all of that are changing customer expectations. Customers expect faster communication, clearer pricing, reliable scheduling, and a consistent experience from start to finish. Sure, technology plays a role here, but it's not about having the newest tools. Technology is becoming a baseline, the minimum expectation. And not having a modern system is increasingly becoming a liability, not a neutral choice. What's actually changing isn't just cost or labor, it's complexity. Running a service business now involves more systems, more coordination, and more visibility than it used to. And depending on the trade, that complexity will manifest itself differently. That's why in this video, we're going to focus on a few specific industries: HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Not because these particular industries matter more than another one, but because they sit at a crossroads of many of the pressure points that are arising throughout field services right now. Regulation, labor availability, rising costs, technology adoption, and increasing customer expectations. These industries tend to feel these pressures early, and they make broad shifts easier to spot. And if your business isn't in one of these industries, this information still matters. Earlier, I mentioned that across all industries, you start to hear the same questions popping up over and over again. What you'll see as we move through these examples aren't isolated trends. You'll start to notice patterns of familiar challenges repeating themselves in slightly different forms. Where pressure shows up first, what's becoming baseline instead of optional, and how successful businesses respond without overreacting. Heading into 2026, the question for most businesses isn't whether change is coming. It's whether they can recognize it early enough to respond with intention rather than urgency. So as we move through these industries, think of this less as a forecast and more of a diagnostic. Where does pressure show first? What starts as optional before it becomes expected? And which challenges repeat themselves even when the industries look different? Those signals tend to matter more than any single trend or prediction. But don't worry, we'll spend time on trends and predictions as well. With that lens in mind, let's start with HVAC, an industry where regulation, efficiency, and uncertainty are forcing those questions all to the surface.